Zoran Mamdani hasn't even been sworn into office yet, but New York City is already coming apart. Literally. What happens when an entire borough of 500,000 Americans declares they've had enough? Well, we're all about to find out. And this isn't some fringe movement anymore. This is real. This is happening right now, and it could reshape the future of American cities forever. Happy Monday, everyone. It's me, Dr. Steve, your Patriot Professor, enjoying yet another wonderful, glorious day in the golden age that you made possible back on November the 5th. So if you want a front row seat on how you continue to change the world in ways you never even imagined, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. On November 5th, New York City elected Zoran Mamdani as their mayor, a 34-year-old Democratic socialist who proudly quotes Eugene Debs and campaigns alongside Bernie Sanders and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. His platform includes rent freezes, free childcare, massive tax hikes on the wealthy, and what critics are calling a full embrace of socialist ideology. It was by no means a landslide win. Mamdani effectively split the left in New York City. He was rejected by nearly half of New York's Democrats. And so while the other four boroughs appear to be battening down their hatches and preparing for the storm to come, one borough, Staten Island, didn't just reject him. They're now trying to officially escape New York entirely. Now, if you don't know, Staten Island is considered a Republican stronghold, and it's the most conservative borough in New York City. So while the rest of New York City is heavily Democrat, Staten Island consistently votes for Republican candidates in their local, state, and national elections. Nearly two-thirds of the borough voted for Trump last November. And this November, they're turning heads across the city. Last week, Republican Assemblyman Sam Pirozzolo stood at the former site of the Rose and Crown Tavern in New Dorp, the exact location where British soldiers first heard the Declaration of Independence read aloud on July the 9th, 1776. And here is some of what he had to say.
250 years ago, brave men and women declared they will no longer live under tyranny. They refused to live under the rule of a government from across the water that overtaxed them, ignored them, and treated them as less than equal. But today, we must stand in their place. Once again, we are being overtaxed with symbolic representation. Once again, our voices are being ignored, and once again, we are being told to pay more and expect less. Now, our voices need to be heard. This is not about race. This is not about religion or even politics. This is about fairness, and this is about freedom, the right of Staten Islanders to choose their own destiny. When our taxes do go up, let it be for our schools, our roads, and Staten Island families, not for a city that has ignored and abandoned us.
So as you can see, Staten Island is channeling the revolutionary spirit of 1776 to break free from Mamdani's socialist regime. Now, if you don't know, this is but the latest chapter in Staten Island's quest to secede from New York City. They've actually been flirting with the idea of independence since the 1940s. Back in 1993, a stunning 65% of residents voted for secession in a non-binding referendum, but then Assembly Speaker Sheldon Silver blocked it, refusing to advance the required home rule message from the city council. The movement more or less faded after Mayor Rudy Giuliani delivered on key promises, closing the Fresh Kills landfill, making the Staten Island Ferry free. But State Senator Andrew Lanza, who's been pushing secession now, since 2008, he says, and I think he's right in this, that the political winds have completely shifted. And he makes the argument that the democratic socialism of Mamdani could not possibly be further out of sync with the conservative values of the communities on Staten Island. You know, what's so interesting here, though, is that this time, were they to have a referendum of some kind, they actually, Democrats might not even try to stop them. And that's because losing Staten Island would make it virtually impossible for Republicans to ever win a citywide election again. Staten Island was the only borough where Andrew Cuomo defeated Mamdani. Mamdani got just about 22% of the vote on Staten Island. But it all comes down fundamentally to this. Can Staten Island actually do this? Can they secede legally from New York City? The answer is going to absolutely blow you away. But first, did you know that U.S. life expectancy peaked at 78 years back in 2014? And global life expectancy is declining for the first time in 30 years because people are aging faster than ever before. And that's largely due to more toxins in the air, chemicals in our soil and food, and other external factors that are new to us. What most people don't know is that we can actually fight aging on a cellular level. Scientists have discovered that kimchi actually slows the aging process of human cells, helping to protect them and delay aging. The power of nature can outweigh the power of pharmaceuticals without the nasty side effects. And now you can get all the benefits of kimchi in a simple capsule with Kimchi One. I take Kimchi One every single day. I absolutely love it. Each capsule delivers over 900 probiotic strains plus antioxidants and enzymes that support your digestion, metabolism, and skin health from the inside out. As we age, we become more susceptible to microbial threats, harmful viruses and bacteria. But the beauty is that Kimchi One is a natural antimicrobial, helping your body fight off harmful bacteria, viruses, and even toxins while boosting immunity and energy. Best of all, Kimchi One is 100% made in America. It's all natural and non-GMO. So do what I do. Support your gut, protect your cells, and feel younger every single day with Kimchi One from Brightcore. Today, you can get an exclusive offer by clicking the link below. Just use code TURLEY for 25% off your entire order, or for an even better deal, give them a call. My friends at Brightcore would love to chat with you. They're going to give you up to 50% off if you call them, and they'll even give you free shipping. How's that? Give them a call right now at 888-597-0233. Remember, if you call them, you get 50% off plus free shipping. That's 888-597-0233. This is St. George, Louisiana. It's one of the newest cities in the United States. It was formed by nearly 100,000 residents living on the southern side of Baton Rouge who grew sick and tired of the dying, decaying rot of that Democrat-run city. And so they decided to take matters in their own hands. Back in October 2019, 54% of voters in the district, or parish as they call them in Louisiana, voted in favor of seceding from Baton Rouge and going independent. After Baton Rouge city officials refused to let St. George leave their city limits, the Louisiana Supreme Court stepped in, and in a 4-3 decision, they ruled in favor of the referendum. And so St. George officially seceded from Baton Rouge, and they are now the 5th largest city in the state of Louisiana, boasting a population of nearly 85,000. If they do things right in terms of the formation of a viable, flourishing school system and conservative use of tax dollars, you can be sure that number is only going to skyrocket. And St. George is hardly alone. The city of Memphis in Tennessee has actually been shrinking over the last few years, with districts such as South Cordova, Southwind, and Rocky Point all having successfully seceded. It's all part of a larger phenomenon that scholars call scaled secession. How's that for a term? Scaled secession. It's also known as de-annexation, where more and more districts are actively trying to secede from their city hall and form their own legally recognized cities. And they're being very successful at it. That is precisely what Staten Island is trying to do. In fact, they're not even holding a referendum at this point. They would do it purely through legislation. Staten Island Republicans are introducing a bill that wouldn't even require approval from the New York City Council. It would only need state legislative approval. And they're already directing the city to study the economic impact of Staten Island becoming independent. So they're putting the pedal to the metal in all of this, as it were. There are estimates that the secession bill has about 60% approval among Staten Island legislators. So what would this independence ultimately mean? Well, with approximately 500,000 residents, Staten Island would instantly become the second largest city in New York State. It would basically be the size of Baltimore. It'd be bigger than Miami, Tampa, Oakland, Cleveland. It would need to create its own police force, its own fire department, its own education system. But don't think that that would necessarily cost taxpayers more. Multiple economic analyses have found that Staten Island's secession would actually provide budget relief for them. Staten Islanders already contribute more in taxes than they receive in services. So they've essentially been subsidizing the other boroughs for decades. That would all come to an end with independence. So from this point forward, the process is more or less pretty straightforward. Grassroots support is already there. It's already been built, with rallies drawing tons of Staten Islanders signing petitions. Next comes the feasibility study and economic analysis. Then they'll probably have a non-binding referendum that would let Staten Island voters have their say. And finally, the state legislature, would need to approve a new city charter, and crucially, Governor Hochul and the legislature would have to sign off on that. And there is a wild card here. President Trump has already threatened to cut federal funding to New York City under Mamdani's leadership. A federal government supportive of Staten Island's independence could tip the scales dramatically in all of this. If Staten Island succeeds in this secession, it would set a precedent that could ripple across America. Again, the key here is that scaled secession, or de-annexation as it's called, is already happening. But with Staten Island going independent, conservative enclaves trapped in progressive-run cities across the nation would have a roadmap. The balance of power in urban America could fundamentally shift. In the meantime, Staten Island's message is clear. They refuse to subsidize socialism. They refuse to be silenced. And they're ready to become America's next great city, one that actually listens to its people. The forgotten borough is forgotten no more. The counter-Marxist revolution, the Patriot Uprising, has officially begun. Hey gang, you asked for more, so here it is. I'm pulling back the curtain and inviting you into my world. Turley Walks is officially live. Every week, I'm dropping unfiltered insights and exclusive behind-the-scenes moments just for you. New episodes go live every Thursday only on our Patriot portal. This isn't my usual uncensored Monday night Q&A where I do a deep dive with my Turley troublemakers. Turley Walks is unscripted, raw, and packed with personal insights that you won't get anywhere else. It's available exclusively for members of the Courageous Patriot Club. Head on over to turley.pub/club or scan the QR code to join us and unlock access to all the exclusive content. Let's dive in together.